Good morning, everybody. Joe Chacho here. Happy Friday to everybody. Got a big, long weekend coming up. Long meeting Saturday and Sunday. So, let me give everybody a couple seconds just to get on the call. Let me kind of go over some of the things that came across my desk just this week that a lot of agents are still forgetting. When you write a Rural Neighbors application and you do a point-of-sale interview, you need to have all the information right there at the time of the interview, so the client does not change their mind at the end when you ask them for their checking account. Another thing is that with Rural Neighbors on their simplified issue whole life is that the insured must be the owner and the payor. These are things that you can't change when you're on the phone with the interviewer. The insured, the person that you're writing, must have a checking account, savings account, cannot have a debit card, and they must be the owner of the policy. Now, if the child wants to pay for it, you get the parents started off, grandparents started off, whoever it is, as the payor, and once a policy is issued, then you have the ability to do a change form to help your client out. Another big thing that a lot of agents are missing is that on the Transamerica application, where you have all the stuff for the beneficiaries, either you answer every single block in there, Social Security, date of birth, phone number. If the client does not know it and you asked it on the bottom left of the application right next to where you sign, there's a little square box there that you got to blot it up stating that you as the agent asked the question to the client and the client does not know the information. So make sure those two things you kind of put up in your memory bank, because with Transamerica it goes into what they call a NIGO, not in good order, and what happens is it sits and sits and sits until you decide to check on it. So, okay, let's get cranked up. Value. What is the word value when it comes to me? So I'm going to tell you guys how I feel that I build value when I go into somebody's house. Okay? And the value is not how you style your hair, the type of car you drive, or the cologne you wear. Value, it's what you bring to the party. It's when you go knock on somebody's door. It's when you set up an appointment. Value is everything. People sit and say, well, you should wear a shirt with an emblem embroidered to the company you work with. That's fine. Does that bring value? Yes, it does, because it shows you work for a company. I'm going to go one step beyond that there, over than a shirt. I feel that it has a lot to do with your first appearance at the door. It's how you actually speak with the client at the door, not to them or not at them. It's how you speak with them. It's your voice inflection. It's how you make eye contact. Is how you actually make the first hello, my name is. You get one chance to make a first impression. And the value of when you go to a door has got to be spot on, 100% correct, because what happens is that they may get a bad vibe on you and it could hurt you. Now, I like going to work basically dressed the way I am right now. I used to wear a long sleeve shirt with a tie, with a starched collar. My neck used to get all raw. So this is my style on what I feel comfortable with. Some agents like wearing long sleeve shirts. Some agents still like wearing ties. There's some gentlemen that recently, I don't know anybody, but yet I've had agents work with us who've worn a suit every day. Is that necessary? Well, if that's your style and that's what makes you feel comfortable, I would do it. We've got agents now that go to work in shorts and tennis shoes. That's their style. And again, it's all on what makes you feel comfortable in the areas that you work. So I am not one to sit and say this is the way you're supposed to dress or this is the way you're supposed to comb your hair. It is your style on what makes you feel comfortable when you go to somebody's door. Now, when you go to a door, the value of going to a door is that you have to smile. This here is your calling card. Your pearly white teeth are your calling card. And by you smiling brings a value that you are a happy person. It means that you want to be there. You have to have empathy when you're at the door. You've got to know where to stand. You've got to know what to say, what you should carry. Okay? I'm not going to go over all that stuff today because we'll be on the phone for 2 hours. But these are things you have to know when you go to a door. Because if you go to a door with too much stuff, that person's going to sit and think you are there to sell something, Whereas what you've got to sit and put in your mind is, I am, yet I got to cross that 4-inch threshold to get into the door. What should I carry? Where should I stand when I'm at the front door? Communication skills. Little words such as, I want to discuss this with you. I'm here to help you. You sent this card in. What information were you looking for? Words that you choose will continue the conversation to where a client is feeling comfortable speaking with you. There's a word that I heard a long time ago that should be used, and I've said this before, the word but, B-U-T. This is a great company, but. I've got this, but. Whenever you say the word but, the next 3 or 4 words, the people are not listening to you, because normally what follows the word but is something negative. So I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Your mind goes into a shutdown mode for a second or so. So they're not really listening to what you're saying. So consider using the words. The other carriers that we have out there are good. Let me tell you why mine are. Use the word yet and the word however. Those words there are a better joining force of 2 phrases that will make your client's attention span stay 100% instead of losing 100% the next 2 or 3 words you say after the word but. You need to know the proper questions to ask to a client when you're there visiting with them. When you're there, you need to find out what they wanted to know, what information that they wanted to find out about. You can't go in there and just start winging it and start talking about this and this and that and that. Because what ends up happening is you're going to lose their attention. You're going to lose their focus. When you're speaking with a client, you need to be in control. If the TV's on, I like to ask them, will you please turn the TV off so I do not speak too loud and disrespect you? Okay? If they got screaming kids running around the house, it's kind of hard to tell them, lock your kids up in the bedroom. That is a decision you're going to make either to deal with it or to make an appointment to come back when the kids aren't there. That's a choice you've got to make. How to handle rebuttals when they say something to you. Practicing rebuttals, knowing how to handle them, builds value on your demeanor on how you come across. When a client tells you they don't want anything, they've changed their mind, today's not a good day, they give you all those excuses there, you've got to sit and say, it's showtime. I'm on a Broadway stage. I'm in front of a different person. I've got to know how to answer those questions. This is why practicing is so important when it comes to what we're doing. Because what ends up happening when they give you a rebuttal, sometimes you go into shutdown mode, you get all upset, and you leave because of whatever. You could have had a bad day, it's the lead, it's the weather, it's snowing, it's not snowing, your car's not working. And when they sit and tell you, I don't want it, I changed my mind, I've seen agents before get all, and they pout like little babies and say, Joe, the lead's no good. And I said, wait. Sir, may I ask you a question? And then from there, you go back. What you're doing is that you're in a boxing ring. They punched you, you've got to punch back lighter yet firmer. You've got to let them know that you're there for a reason because they sent the card in. Their information is on the card. You're not a pushover. You're not going to let them push you around. You're going to sit there. You're going to take a step back, take a breath, relax, and go after it. So practice front door rejections. I want to think about it. All those rejections, you have to know when you're in a home because that's another way of building value because if they're going to push you around, you're not going to make a sale. You've got to know the application process so when a client is speaking to you, you know how to answer questions. When the client sits and tells you they're a diabetic, the response is not only an okay. The response is, okay, are you on an insulin shot or are you taking a pill? If they say they're on a shot, you need to ask them when they started taking their shot. Was it over the age of 30? If it's a company you want to use, such as Mutual of Omaha, they can't even be diagnosed with diabetic, even an insulin shot or a pill, prior to age 50. So the carrier that you choose to use, you've got to know the health questions so when you're there with them. My thought is that I have picked one company. This is the company I've chose. You guys pick the company you want. I've got the company Royal Neighbors. I know the application inside out. I know what the health questions are. I know what the medications are. So I start with that company there. If they say they had a stroke, let's say 14 months ago, I already know that that is a do not submit. I can go to either Americo Ultra Protector 2. I can go to Transamerica Immediate Standard. Those are two out the top of my head. So you can go to those two right then and there. So by knowing the application and knowing how to pivot to another company in your mind, because you've yet to tell the client, I'm trying to qualify you for this carrier. Memorize one application inside out. Memorize another application inside out, so you got one and you can pivot to the other one. If you're not sure about the third one, then you got the little cheat sheets we have that you can use. Along with the applications is the prescriptions. As easy and simple as you guys can keep it. If you have an iPhone, you can look up a prescription because they've got a lot of new prescriptions coming out, or you can go look at the actual prescription list they have with all the different carriers to find out how it falls with them. When you're visiting with somebody, another thing on building trust and character for yourself is having empathy when you're speaking with them. To me, voice inflection is such a powerful thing when you're speaking with somebody to emphasize certain words that you want to get across. When you're tapping on a subject and you want to get that subject across, you have to raise your voice a little bit for a certain word, or lower your voice for certain phrases. And what that's going to do, that's going to click in their mind. They're going to go, man, why is he doing this here? It must be important. So when you're doing these things on a regular basis and you're practicing on how to emphasize words, emphasize phrases, what it's going to do is going to come across as if you know more of what you're doing. Body language. Body language is something that some people don't know how to read. You know, they'll say when you have somebody's arms are like this here, they're closed off. You got to have them open up. Well, usually that's the answer, but usually that could just be what feels comfortable to me. So you got to kind of see the overall picture. If they're like this here and they're keeping their eyes right on you, I think they're paying attention to you, okay? If they're playing with their leg, they're looking at the TV, they're messing with their kids, you got to stop the process, get them involved, get them undo those arms. You got to find a common area that they like. That's why a warm-up builds value. When you're in a home, right in the beginning, you've got to build some type of connection with that person. It doesn't matter if you have a buy one, get one free, if you got $50,000 for $2 a day. You've got to build a value in the beginning to let them feel that you are a trustworthy person that they want to at least speak with. Then based on your knowledge and the information you share, finding the need, driving the need home, push them over the side to where they want to do business with you. But it takes time and it takes practice, and you're going to mess up. An agent called me yesterday and said, Joe, my God, I'm just a complete failure. I messed up. I don't know what I'm going to do. Guys, failure is a part of success. Messing up is a part of success. Totally messing everything up is a stepping stone to success. So don't beat yourself up. Say, hey, I made a mistake. Understand the mistake you make. Make a note in your brain to where you don't do it again. That will make you more successful, and when you're speaking with somebody, you're going to come across with more confidence. This is one that agents have a hard time dealing with. Being a good listener. Listening to what the client has to say. We like to speak, but we want to take control. We want to tell them all the reasons. Term is not good, whole life is good, term is great, ULs are better, single premium whole life. We have all this different knowledge up here that we want to share. We want to get it off our chest to impress them on all the brains we have. Keep it simple. Listen to what they are talking about. Listen to what they've done before. Listen to them and find out what they want to do in a very simple way. Believe it or not, by listening to people and throwing a little bit of gas on them to keep them talking, they're going to drive you in the area that you want them to go on the reasons why they sent the card in and why they want to buy or why they do not want to buy. So if they take you down the lane that they want to buy, you move forward. If they take you down the lane to where they don't want to buy by listening, now you got to come up with questions to overcome what that objection may be or that concern may be. Yet if you're not listening and you're only hearing, what you're going to do, you're going to get to a certain point in the presentation, you're going to keep falling back and keep falling back. Another thing is giving recommendations to your client, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. Believe it or not, if you go see a client that had a policy that they took out 6 years ago, and it's with a reputable company, it's in full benefits, you cannot beat the price, there's no way for you to do anything with it, their health is not good, it is so fantastic to sit and say, you know something, what I'm going to advise you to do is keep that policy. I do this for a living. This is something how I do to provide for my family. Yet what you have is very good. If somebody else comes in here and tells you that you ought to change it, I'm going to have you rethink that there, because if that was so, that is something I would do. Okay? Now, if they had a policy 5 years ago and they're in good health, you've got something out there that is of a close price that what they're paying now. They have a cash value in it, something they want to get the cash value out, start another one. They want to do a paid up policy. They want to do an extended term policy. That comes with experience and knowing what to do. So get with me or get with your manager if you're in that situation, and we can guide you when you're in the house with a client. Another one. I've got 4 more. Having the desire to do better. Building value with the client is a step-by-step process. You get one chance in the beginning to have them like you, and as the process goes on, when you're always in your mind thinking, I want to get better, I want to do better, I want to listen more, I want to speak less, I want to ask proper questions, I want to ask them why they've bought no insurance, I want to find out why they need more insurance. When you're always trying to do better for yourself and for the client, what it's going to do, they're going to come more closer to you. They're going to gravitate towards you. To me, it's called the law of positive attraction. When you're speaking with somebody and you're coming across with a low tone, you're speaking slowly, you are coming across as a professional, the trust meter goes higher and higher and higher. And what that does is that's going to push you over to the point to where they say, I think I may do something with this guy. I think I like this young lady. I like her style. He's not talking as much. He's not pushing me. He's just giving me information, okay? So it is your style on presentation is what makes people want to buy something from you. Knowing how to handle people's rejection, okay? People have got a cement wall up in front of them. And the bad part about it is, the sad part about it is, the unknown part is you don't know they got a wall up there. The cement block wall is not full of brick and mortar. It's called like glass blocks. You can't see it, but it's there. Their buy block is right up to here, maybe here to where they can speak with you, and you do not know why they're not coming across to speak to you. You don't know. This is why all of these things we sit and speak about, the trust meter, getting their confidence, finding something in common with them, what's going to do is going to slowly chip that down without you even knowing what their issues are. Because there could have been an agent there a month ago who was a complete jerk, sat at a dining room table, tried to arm wrestle with them to buy something, told them that if they don't buy and they die, they give them all these excuses, and people get a little bit nervous. People get a little bit, man almighty, I don't want this pressure. So when you come in, you take a couple steps back, you're just taking your time. You're there with no briefcase. You're there with no laptop, no iPad, just giving information. What the person is saying is that, man, this guy's different. She's not trying to sell me something. They're just giving me information. You know what you're doing. You're getting them closer to you. And what you're doing without you realizing it, you're knocking that wall down to where when they go to move, they don't trip on it, and they'll come over and sign the application with you. Okay. All of this, plus the stuff that I have not mentioned, has a lot to do with the overall knowledge you have for our marketplace. from the door knock to the close to the cool down to a thank you note to a follow-up in 6 months, a follow-up card in 9 months, a follow-up birthday card before their birthday to see if they want to add insurance. What this here is the overall knowledge of our business. And the overall knowledge of the business comes at a slow pace for some. Some people catch on faster. Yet successful people, what we do, mess up. They totally skim their knees, get bloody noses, because they're saying, I don't care. It's a part of the learning process to get better. I don't know anybody in this business who started and was successful the first week of the first month. Now, a lot of us have been lucky the first week, the first month, and gone out and made sales. But then reality strikes when you have a chargeback coming in. You've got a lead. People aren't home. People are telling you they can't see you. So putting all of this stuff into a blender, blending it around, and pouring it out smoothly, what it's going to do is that it's going to give you more confidence at the door. It's going to give you more wisdom when you're sitting speaking with somebody about what you have to offer. So, think about it. It's what you bring to the party when you're speaking to a client. The way you speak, your demeanor, your body language, the words you choose, how you speak, voice inflection, the way you sit, the manner you sit, where you sit in a house, where I recommend not to, which is a kitchen table, because that's where business takes place. I'm not into that. I want to sit somewhere else. I've got no idea what happened to that table. Take your time, tap your brakes, think about what you're going to say, stop, assess, speak. When you ask a question to a client, allow them time to think about it, process it, to give you an answer, because by allowing them to give you an answer is giving you ammunition on which direction to go to speak with them. So with that said, guys, we're going to end it there. It's a lot of stuff to digest. Anybody have any questions? If you do, do me a *2, and Jay will open you up if you want to add something, some of the stuff that you feel is a great value when you go to somebody's house or visiting with a client on the phone. If you do, do me a *2, Jay will open you up. Okay, nobody wants to chit-chat. Everybody have a great weekend. Appreciate your hard work. Love every single one of you guys. Make it a great weekend. Have fun. Got any questions, call your manager. Call me. Hit them hard, guys. Bye-bye.